One of the fascinating things about pendulums is that we can learn a lot of a basic pendulum experience. And what I mean by that is just offering the pendulum to your participant and just explore the power of the unconscious mind, the idiomotor response, energies, however you want to frame the narrative of your performance, right? And in this video I want to share with you a very simple and at the same time very profound insight that alludes to this feminine way, this facilitation approach, which is very relevant not just for pendulums but for every type of mystery performance. If you had a little bit of understanding about these concepts of balance between the feminine and the masculine, you know that sometimes in pendulum work especially we are too much focused into suggestion, into the way in which you need to do things, doing is very masculine verb in approach discipline, right? And of course we can do it, and in this book, Ideas About Pendulums, I share a lot of the ways in which you can suggest people and also how can you facilitate the space. And sometimes that feminine quality of the experience is not well observed, and that's why I am also sharing this idea for you if you are interested in offering a pendulum experience that is not hard at all. This is not simple, it's complex, but it's not hard, which sounds like a contradiction, but it's not, because this idea of pendulum work as facilitation allows you to open a space of curiosity. And there is a very simple line that I will share with you. Very simple line. You don't need much suggestion. You can, of course, and you need to develop that masculine ways, that assertiveness, that directness, that secure attitude. Of course that you need to do it. But as soon as you develop that, you can go to more subtle ways, more indirect ways in which you understand that you don't need to do things, right? You need to open the space in which that action will naturally emerge, right? And this idea again is very simple, but you need to study it. You need to embrace the words so your participant can truly understand that you are not just saying things, but you are resonating with the idea. And the concept is very simple. You will just hand the pendulum to your participant, and your participant will focus the attention into the object, in this case our Arcanosophy Haunted Key, and you will say this type of words. Obviously it's not an exact script, you need to study the meaning of the words so you can truly communicate your mind and your feeling. And you will say something like, okay, now focus on that key and allow your unconscious mind to create any particular movement. It can be in a line in this fashion, it can be a line in this way, or maybe it can be a circle, maybe clockwise movement or counterclockwise. Just observe the natural movement that it will emerge, for example, right? That's a script that allows your participant not to follow suggestions. Sometimes pendulum work feels like too much instruction, right? And when we are doing too much, we have obviously more opportunities to failure, because sometimes people get nervous, they don't understand what they need to do when they hold the pendulum, right? Sometimes we can facilitate the idiomotor response for them, but this way in which you are allowing the participant to observe the movement. As you can see in the words that I choose for that potential script, again, is not a rigid spell, if you want. You need to understand the words and then came up with your own ways. For example, another way to say it is, okay, focus on the key and just allow the pendulum to move mysteriously as your unconscious mind desires that, write a circle, and now watch what happened when I just snap my fingers. Can you see how the movement is reversed, right? It's very weird, right? So you are not saying a direct suggestion, you are opening, you are facilitating the natural movement. That's the line that I love, because ideomotor response is not even a supernatural phenomenon. Every action that we do in a way is created by the unconscious, right? So in that type of ambience that you are creating with your language, you are allowing the participant to just be curious, to wonder, to observe the pendulum and say, okay, this will move. I don't know how, I don't know when, but it will move, right? And if you know a little bit of wonder words and NLP and the power of linguistics, you know that observing, it's a verb that is kind of strange in this context. You are allowing the participant to observe what happens. So it's a disassociation, if you know about Ericksonian hypnosis as well. The participant will enter to a very mild trance in which the participant will again observe the movement. So that also implies that the movement, it will happen. It's a presupposition, right? It will happen. Now observe which movement will arrive, and maybe you can give the instruction as I give in the previous script. You can say maybe in a line connecting us, or maybe in a circle, maybe in a line the other way. Just allow your mind to, right? And then the movement will occur, maybe at just small vibration. Obviously, if you know the more suggestive works, you can utilize that small vibration. Sometimes our participants maybe are kind of nervous, or maybe they're resistant to the experience, and maybe the movement is just very slow, right? Just like a vibration, and you can say, that's right, and that small vibration will start to expand, right? And it will. So pendulum work is a beautiful mystery, and you can go to Pendulum Center and check a lot of different sources that you can get and get inspired by. And most importantly, explore, get a pendulum. And you don't need the ones that we sold, you can do your own. I remember, and I always have here, my first pendulum, right? It's just a piece of nostalgia for me. It's just a stone with a little string, right? You can do your own, experiment with your participants, learn, and allow the mystery to occur, right? In that approach, you are just creating a space of silence, a space of expectation, of curiosity, and all that is a suggestion. So we are still using suggestion, but in a more feminine way. And at every performance, we can learn that this is a model that brings balance. So it's not just about procedure, about logical, about justifications. Of course that we need to motivate what we do, of course. But then we can advance through that rationale and going into the emotion, into the feminine, into the chaotic, into the uncertainty. Because when we create that space, some beautiful things can emerge. So if you are interested in pendulums, go to Pendulum Center. You can get ideas about pendulums. You can get also a lecture that they did some years ago with Luca Volpe and an international online convention. And obviously we have the workshop for pendulum, 101, 4 classes in which you can get a lot of reflections and content and personalized ideas, of course, because each course is one-on-one. So thanks for your time, for your attention, and I hope that you can take your pendulum and explore the mysteries of the ideomotor response and the unconscious.